frustrating night? Frustrating result?
Yeah, definitely. I think with how we played, chances we created, how we dominated it, and then it's a one chance and they get a goal, and it's a bad result in the end. But I thought we played some good football at times.
Yeah, first goal for you under the new manager. That's always a good start.
Yeah, as I said, it was a game that I felt we played really patient, got some chances, and then I took the chance and to put one up, but we got to finish the job off there. Yeah.
You had some control, didn't you? You had control of the game, it felt like at that point, and I don't know for what reason they kind of grasped it back.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, felt we were in control, and then just a one chance and one goal, but it's one that, under the new manager, I think we'll definitely get better, and we'll just keep going and progressing. You
had some good spaces in first half, and then in that first part of the second half, got yourself into one-on-ones and chances to pull the trigger.
Yeah, as I said, playing in a slightly different role here with the manager, and it's one that I enjoy playing out wide here, so with time we'll get better.
I noticed that, I don't know if that's an instruction from him, you were hugging the touchline a little bit compared to where perhaps you've played previously.
Yeah, as I said, happy to play along the front line, and he wanted me out wide and getting at the fullback and getting in the box and creating chances. So I said the more time under him, I think it will be better for us.
And work to do in this group. I know you've got 2 games against Milan now, but with just 1 point from the first 2, that's what it's like in these groups. It happens fast.
Yeah, exactly. It's a disappointing one today, but we've got a big game coming up next, and it's one that we definitely need to get the win at.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, mate. And player of the match. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Russ.
Cheers, Bree.
All the best, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Ed.
It makes you think it must be quite challenging, Crouchy, as a player to have to adapt to a new role. It wasn't a completely new role, but he was asked to play in a slightly different position. Is that quite a challenge?
Yeah, I mean, he's a top player. He can adapt to it. I just wasn't sure how much he would enjoy playing that role. I think he wants to be between the sticks, getting on the end of things. But it didn't look like that today. I mean, he was the best player on the pitch. He got loads more room. He was, like you say, hugging the touchline, but that gave him more room. He was going past people on the outside. He was coming inside, playing 1-2s. It was a fantastic performance for him. And I'm not sure if he'll stay there for the whole season, but he's more than capable of doing that.
What did you like most about what you saw of Sterling tonight?
Well, he took the manager's tactics onto the pitch. I think we look at the position here. He was asked to play outside the block. So if we see this position here, if you look, this is what Red Bull are going to do to you. They try and squeeze you in. So if you just pick up Sterling here, he was constantly backing off and just giving his team width all the time. Here he is calling for the ball. And now what does that do? As he gets the ball, it makes the distance between the right back, stretches their back four, and again the runners were going in, But this is what Sterling gives you. He doesn't go down the outside. A lovely ball inside, and again, there's that space. And whenever he plays from out wide, but if he sees space like that, he will attack it. He attacks it again, gets in the box, doesn't get his shot off. But fair play to Red Bull, they were getting the blocks in. But he was holding his position very, very well. Again, he's slightly inside now. And whenever he's in this position, he's only got one thought in his head. Let me attack that space.
And you talk about him being a wing-back. That's not where a wing-back would stand. He's literally the highest man forward.
Yeah, and his speed is exhilarating when he gets in here and he stands people up. Crouchy don't. I mean, he comes in, gets a little bit of quality there. Doesn't come to nothing, but he was always the outlet. He was always, and this is here he is there, pick him up on the bottom of your screen, coming into position. Just downside as it goes into Havertz. Watch this. This is another thing which he'll benefit from this position, because if you pick him up here, you're going to be able to creep in. You're going to be able to creep into this area of the pitch. Pardon me. As the cross comes in, just watch him now. He actually makes his run, doesn't come in, stops it, makes the run again, gets good connection. So he was disciplined in his role and he was getting a lot of joy. Here's the goal. This is the perfectly alluded. Look, other side of the pitch now. Watch Reece James. We pause it there. Again, there's that distance between the centre half and the right back. Mason Mount on this occasion, he makes a great run down there. Feeds him in, Crouchy. And then Mason Mount, he does what all good players do. They recognise when they've got the numbers up. He knows he needs to feed it into that area. Eventually, there's the goal scorer in the back end of your screen there. But he just feeds it in, gets a little bit of luck. But when you've got numbers up, lovely touch and it's finished. He took to the role like he's been playing it for his whole life. He was outstanding.
And I guess it's easy for us to say they lacked cutting edge. But Crouchy, How do we get more goals, or how do they get more goals out of this Chelsea side? Is it easy to just say, look, it's cutting edge, or do the forward players require better service as well?
Yeah, I do think that. I think it's a bit harsh. Aubameyang looks a bit out of sorts the last 2 games, but I do think that they've got to play to his strengths. I think they've got to learn. I think it was one time, I think Jorginho played a lovely ball over the top. Aubameyang was so quick, great movement, but it was a bit few and far between. I felt a bit sorry for him at times. It actually looked better when MRBEAR came on.
So looking forward, what do you think Graham Potter will want to work on first ahead of the upcoming Premier League game?
He'll carry on working on the foundations of how he wants to play, his system, his fundamentals. He'll carry on working for that. In terms of what Crouchy's saying, what you are seeing about how can you get the cutting edge, there's no doubt all of these players are quality and they can score goals. Aubameyang scored hundreds of goals in his career. Sterling, there's goals in the team. It's the little bit of confidence, and that you have to build that up on the training ground by drilling them every day, finishing sessions. Maybe Hakim Ziyech needs a little bit of an arm around his shoulder. You know, Pulisic, the lads who've been on the peripheries, because one of them's got to step up and put the ball in the back of the net sooner rather than later, because this quality of players won't keep missing this amount of chances consistently.
And you say he needs to put his arm around them, give them a bit of confidence. If anyone can do that, it's a manager like Graham Potter, because that's what his style is. He's a great man-manager.
Yeah, of course, you know, he's tactically very aware. I think he's the best part of him for me is the way he adapts. I think, you know, as he touched on today, he thought that, you know, he'd play with Reece James and Sterling getting the space today, but that's not to say he's not going to stick to that rigid for the rest of the season. He could change that next week to accommodate a different side.
Okay, and let's not forget, it's back-to-back games against AC Milan, starting with a game here at Stamford Bridge. I know that the fans will definitely be looking forward to that one. And speaking of what you have to look forward to, there is more action.
From your point of view?
Well, we're disappointed with the result in the end. So I thought the boys gave everything, really did. Attacked quite well. Missed a little bit of final bit in the first half, but they defended well, got some good blocks in. Scored a good goal. Probably lost a little bit in the second period of the second half, but responded well again. Their keepers made some good saves. So overall, disappointed with the result, but boys gave everything, just wasn't quite to be today.
You've not had long. It felt like you got control at the start of the second half. The goal comes and looks like you're in charge, and then for some reason it was hard to see why they got a grip.
Yeah, but the way they play, it's not easy to control how they play. You've got to credit them for that. I thought we controlled the first half as well, and like I said, that got into the final third a lot. They defended well with blocks and few efforts that we didn't do so well with. But against the Champions League side, you're not going to open them up so easy. But like I said, scored a good goal. Little moment, I think, for the goal. Apart from that, like I said, responded well and had some other opportunities. The keepers made a couple of saves at the end. So here's what it is. We have to dust ourselves down, but application of the boys was fantastic. Attitude was great. Personality as well, so we'll get better.
As an overall impression, and I know it's early days, quickness of play, is that what you wanted?
Yeah, we tried. I mean, I thought we got Raheem, like I said, in the first half especially, into 1v1 situations quite often. Got some dangerous opportunities in the box. They blocked well. The goal was a good result of that, I thought. It's impossible to control the whole thing for 90 minutes, and the period where we didn't do it so well, they scored. But that's something, again, for us to get better with.
It felt, from watching from the outside and about a manager's point of view, that the way you conceded that goal will be irritating.
Yeah, but it's always irritating when you concede a goal. Like I said, the overall defensive performance I thought was quite strong. The reactions when we lost the ball was really good. The boys ran hard all the time. So, yeah, the little details we'll have to improve in. But like I said, first game, it's not been easy for the boys as well. They've responded really well to us over the last few days, and like I said, not the result we wanted, but it's a point and we have to take it and try to get better.
We pondered pre-match how you'd set up. It looked like a 3, a lopsided 4. How would you describe it? And is that a blueprint for what we'll expect from you?
Well, no, it's just against Salzburg. They blocked the middle really well. It's not easy to play through the centre, so we thought we'd use Raheem and Reece in the wide areas and use Aspie and Mark to support that and try to get some more body central in the pitch with Kai and with Mason and with Matteo. So yeah, it worked okay, but not well enough.
Yeah, and of course you lose them with no game in the weekend. They go off on international duty, so it's a kind of start for you personally.
Yeah, it has been, but there's nothing I can do about that. It's fine. Like I said, the The guys have responded really well to us. The attitude's been fantastic. The personality's been great. So they've been really responsive. No complaints apart from the fact that we're disappointed we haven't taken the 3 points.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And they had opportunities too, didn't they? He's always quite measured in his responses, isn't he, in interviews. But let's rewind and take it back to Raheem Sterling's goal, because he was the player that we all looked at from the offset and said he's the one that's going to impact things.
Yeah, I mean, again, he got in so often. It's a lovely ball from Mason Mount. He recognises the overload at the far post, feeds it in. Bit of a mistake, and this is a beautiful touch. Glenn alluded to it. With this roll, it would have studs at your body. And if you look at this position he picks up Crouch, he just goes in, doesn't he?
Yeah, we touched on this in the first half, how much space he was getting. There's an obvious tactic from Graham Potter, and it worked to perfection, really, because he had the opportunity to score, and that's a Raheem Sterling goal. He's an absolute banker of a signing. You know he's going to deliver in the Premier League.
He's now actually the second highest scoring English player in Champions League history. Only Wayne Rooney has more, and I know that the Chelsea fans will want to see more of him, and I'm sure we will, won't we?
We will. He was brought here to be the focal point, the star of the club. He's already delivering. He was one of the bright sparks tonight. He's been one of the only bright sparks at the start of the season. For sure, Raheem Sterling's going to be a big player for this club.
The warning signs were there, though, weren't they, from Salzburg? Because they just looked fearless out there against Chelsea, even when they were behind, and it was Okafor that scored the equaliser.
Yeah, they didn't carve too many chances out, but he had a little chance just before that, a bit of a warning sign. Joe was squirming in his seat for a little bit. And then once, Chelsea don't put the game to bed, and this was the first chance, a nice little glancing header, and just sort of warning signs came apparent. If you don't take your chances, in the Champions League especially, you might get punished, and that's what happens. I think it's Raheem Sterling on the far side here gives it away, but they still get bodies back, which I think the attitude was spot on today. They still get people behind the ball, but then from there they just missed 2 or 3 tackles. I think there's a tackle that comes in there. Cucurella misses that one. They miss that one in midfield, and then as it breaks down here, Thiago's in control of that. He dives in with 2 feet. And misses it again, and as switches off at the back post, and he just gets in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Thiago Silva would have done this thousands of times. He just gets it wrong on the night. He goes with a 2 feet. He needs to go with his left foot. Aspie just a little bit sleeping at the far post, and then he comes in. It's Okafor is a lovely fit. He was a constant threat. He kept Chelsea honest all night because he picks up good positions. He runs in behind, and at his age, he's going to be a massive player in the future.
Really good movement as well, because Aspilicueta just looks back, and that's when he goes. Just to that split second, just to get that yard on him, and that's how he scores.
At the top of the show, we asked the question and we spoke about what Graham Potter's list of priorities would be. We said he needs to really sort out the defence. Do you think that's still his main priority, having looked at what we've just seen tonight? Yeah,
I mean, he's juggling things. I mean, Fofana's coming back from a big injury. We know what he can do. Koulibaly's coming from Italy. He's not had the best of starts to his Chelsea career, but he's a big player. So he's got them. He's got, Aspilicueta, he's getting older. Thiago Silva's getting older. Cucurella's coming. So he's got options. He needs to find the right blend. He needs time. He needs time. He won't be happy there's no game at the weekend, because he'd have loved to have got Liverpool here at the weekend and had that massive game, and then praise would have erupted if we get the 3 points. So the lads go away for the international break. So he's trying to find time when there isn't enough time to work on his players before the next game. But I'm sure, looking at him today, he looks like a natural fit for the club at this moment, for this regime going forward, for a long-term plan. He's a natural fit.
And we talked about the positive signs of tonight. We saw a lot